I know what you're thinking. These are like up-and-coming top players to watch, and no one wants to watch Game & Watch. So you don't actually have to watch him. However, he is going to be a top player. And he goes out of region, and he performs extremely well, and he does really well in region. And I think what's mostly impressive about Mia is that most people don't believe in this character. I think Game & Watch is good. I don't think he's like top tier. Yeah, we could talk about it. Let's talk about the top 5 up-and-coming Smash players. It's exactly what it sounds like. If I had to pick a number 1, it would probably be Zomba, right? Before he got his second win on Leo, and I watched him beat Leo the first time, and I watched him beat Tweak, also the first time. I was like, this is a completely different player. Because I remember like Zomba when he was like good and when he was getting good, he was top 10 on the PGR. So you could argue that you can't even really call him an up-and-coming player. But he undeniably had like a really down bad streak after he hit top 10, where he was starting to lose to like a lot of players he probably shouldn't have. I don't think he was going to too many tournaments, or if he was, he just wasn't placing well whatsoever. He lost to a content creator, by the way, me. Hey man, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. He definitely struggled with a lot of Rob's like bad matchups, and that held him back. He had a lot of bad habits, but he's like worked a lot of those out of his system, and he's playing the mental game a lot more is what I've noticed. And being that young and being able to stay composed and actually play the mental game is very, very impressive. I think it's like formula for like becoming potentially like top 5 in the world. That's one of my answers for sure is Zomba. Also, he plays Rob. True, I probably should have mentioned that. He's boosted by Rob and not actually good. People were saying Apollo Kage earlier. He's definitely an up-and-comer. I think you actually have to be... let's talk about Apollo Kage. But Apollo Kage is one of those players where I want to say that he's one of those up-and-coming players to have your eye on. And honestly, you should anyway, because he's sick to watch. And I think Snake is cool. And if you don't, it's because you're a bot and you don't. It's because you can't appreciate the cool things in life. I want to see like more consistency from him before I really put him in the list, but I think he needs more experience, and I think he needs to get punished more, if that makes sense. Once his playstyle matures and he stops playing so risky, I think he will like ascend into that rank. Honestly, sure. I think for that reason, because I can see him doing it, and you want to keep your eye on him, I'll put him at number 4. No, he knows how to camp with Snake too. Like he can play the hands game and he can like camp. He knows what he's doing. He's just a really good Snake player. I was actually thinking Jackal because I saw him in a thumbnail. I think he's one of the people who needs to travel more, a lot more, because he's very good. And he has Tweak as a training partner, even though I'm pretty sure they hate playing against each other because they're both filthy campers and all of their friendlies go to time. Again, with more exposure to the game, more like opportunities to go out and play. I remember when I was live, like restreaming this tournament, I mentioned before this set started that Leo is like really good against the Team Fundies characters, where you actually have to have prolonged like stocks with Leo, and you can't just like delete him in 2 interactions. Leo's really good in those kind of matchups, so beating him with Wolf is extremely impressive. And like I've played against Jackal myself, he's beaten me before. I don't remember the last time we played though, but I know he's beaten me. He's beaten Light, and like it's hard to be able to consistently beat him. He's just extremely solid all around. You could argue that Ouch deserves a spot more than him. I don't know. You could just also argue that he gets more opportunities to travel. I mean, if I had to pick one, I believe in Jackal more. I think his playstyle is like more fitted to be like long-term successful. I think Ouch plays like a kid. Plays very aggressive, very in your face. He adapts really well though. But if he can like speed up his adaptation, I think Ouch would take this spot. I've seen Ouch get folded for like a game and a half, and then like absolutely turn up for the reverse 3-0. But like, bro, you got to be able to do that like game 1. And also with Ouch, like I'm only really referencing like one specific scenario here where Leo like actually down air up smash the shit out of him at like 50%. But like that's like I consider that a simple mistake. Getting yourself down aired by Pyra at like 50, that doesn't happen with Jackal. He's a jaded player. He lives in New York where everyone camps and plays cringe characters. You do one of the two, and like, it's a make or break region, you know? New York is a volcano. Got 2 spots left. Mutace, to call Mutace an up-and-comer would be disrespectful. Bro got second at Genesis. If we were to talk about a non-American top player, honestly, I do think that Mia is the answer here. I know what you're thinking. These are like up-and-coming top players to watch, and no one wants to watch Game & Watch. So you don't actually have to watch him. However, he is going to be a top player. And he goes out of region and he performs extremely well, and he does really well in region. And I think what's mostly impressive about Mia is that most people don't believe in this character. I think Game & Watch is good. I don't think he's like top tier. He's a very controversial character when you talk to most top players. And it's like a very privileged stance too, right? Because I just camp him and I don't have to deal with any of his bullshit. But most characters have to like get juggled by him and get grabbed to 50%. As a Snake main, I hate Game & Watch. Totally understandable, man. Who else? Who else is an up-and-coming player that I can think of that I think will... I want to try to think of someone that is like kind of relevant now that's going to be super relevant later. I don't think Chunky Kong is one of those. Like, he's really good with DK, but dude, every time I look at him, he's like in loser's bracket. He's like a loser's bracket diva. He's just a shark. Someone that like would be a surprise to hear. Ooh, Armadillo. He's good. Armadillo's pretty good. I do want to give the last spot to Armadillo. Normally, I'm not a believer in these like kind of gimmicky characters, but like low key, he's making me a believer because I've seen him like play some weird matchups and like play them pretty damn well. But he has a really good understanding of how people play against Lucario, and it's not very often that I see like what I consider like a kind of bad character. Damn, what the heck? It's not very often I see a bad character and I could see myself converting to being a believer. But like, he capitalizes really well on mistakes. He spaces extremely well. And like I said, he's got that like Lucario player factor where he knows how people panic and he can make a lot of good use out of Aura. And he knows how to play like the low percent too. Like he's just like actually like an intelligent player. Like, Shuton, obviously, he has, like, a lot of Lucario experience. He knows how the character works, and he's still got 3-0'd by Armadillo. It's crazy. And he is a crowd favorite, and Lucario's a meme character. But he plays... He plays as if it's a real character. That irritates me. Not in a bad way. But, like, bro, cheese harder. Like, what are you doing? Stop playing an honest game with these fools. They don't deserve the real you. Lucario's a fun character. I enjoy playing Lucario when he works. He's annoying to play in lag. He's actually a really precise character to play too. He does not have that much lag, and so unfortunately Shuton unable to punish and gets killed. Boosh! Dead at 10. Why are you up in there? There you go. That's my top 5. Who do you think is going to be an up and coming up gamer? Comment it down below. Like, comment, subscribe.